Does meal timing actually matter in the long run? How much kilogram per month should I gain during lean bulking while minimizing fat gain? How was your calories progression during your year-long bulk? What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to channel Jacob Alaba. Kung bago kayo, this channel is all about fitness, health, lifestyle, and self-development. So for today's straight up Q&A lang tayo. I'm just gonna be answering your questions. Nagtatanong kasi ako sa IG. And realistically, this is one way na I get to upload more frequently. This one's from Daryl Jed. Yung body recomposition ba talaga? Sobrang minimal changes lang sa scale. 1 month progress only -1 kg. So let me share my experience kasi partly nung bulk na to, nag-recomposition kami. So ginawa namin nasa around maintenance calories ako. Ang mahirap kasi sa body recomposition, it's such a boring stage to be in kasi hindi kasing bilis yung results mo as opposed to kung mag-cut ka or mag-bulk ka. So yung nangyari sa akin, nung nag-body recomp ako for a few months, sobrang tagal ko sa same calories, pero lumalakas ako. I was training hard, I was hitting my calories, my macros, I was sleeping well, pero halos walang nagbabago dun sa scale. The longer I look at my physique over time, nakikita ko mas bumibilog, mas nagtitake ng shape. So I knew na body recomposition was working. Pag nagka-cut ako, kitang-kita ko yung definitions in 2-3 weeks. Kapag bulk naman, nakikita mo naman maakyat yung timbang sa scale, lumalakas. Sa recomposition, it takes some time. Hindi siya ganun kabilis. If you're doing things right, stick to that and take progress photos para makita mo yung difference dun sa physique mo as time goes by. Question number 2, this is from Lance Deslate. Thoughts on low volume, high intensity sets? First, define muna natin yung volume tsaka yung intensity. Yung volume, yung total number of reps and sets mo. Usually, for a lot of cases, yung sets yung binibilang. So, ilang sets ka per week ng chest, ilang sets ka per week ng back. Ang intensity naman is measure of how hard you're training. May video ako about RPE dyan with Grant that will help you guys understand how to measure your intensity using RPE or RIR. So, when we say low volume, ibig sabihin, mga 3 sets ka lang, tapos hindi ganun karami yung exercises mo, probably 5 to 6 exercises per day. Pag high intensity, that is training close to failure. So I've been running somewhat mababang volume tsaka mataas na intensity and it's worked well for me. Kasi kahit sabihin mong konti man yung sets, konti man yung exercises, pinupush mo talaga yung sarili mo to train close to failure. Now, training close to failure may be difficult, lalo na kung baguhan ka. Pero as long as you try and be honest with your lifts na you're going 2 to 3 reps shy of failure or even 1 or even actually failing, that is considered to be high intensity. So ako, for my case, I like to do a few sets na close to failure, then maybe 1 set sa dulo, sa last set ko, na actual failure or 1 rep away from failing. So if you guys want to try this type of approach, I recommend this. And ito rin yung pinapagawa ko sa mga clients ko most of the time. Question number 3, biggest tips for first-time competitors. Shout out Wax, nakaka-gym ko to minsan. For me, if you are a first-time competitor sa bodybuilding, whether it's men's physique, classic, or bodybuilding mismo, the first thing is kailangan may experience ka with training, maayos-ayos ka na magbuhat, and marunong ka mag-diet. Kasi ang bodybuilding competition is taken to the extreme yan of getting lean, diba? Of training. You're really going to be committing a lot of your time and effort and energy to the prep. I also don't recommend na mag-compete ang isang tao kung yun yung means niya for getting fit or getting thin. For example, obese yung tao, tapos, okay, challenge ko sa sarili ko, gusto ko agad mag-compete. Gagamitin mong motivation yung competition to lose that fat. I do not recommend that kasi you might have a hard time. Hindi ganun kalakas yung why mo and baka wala ka pa masyadong experience properly dieting and training. Beyond that, maganda sana you get a coach, lalo na kung first time mo. Kasi nung first time ko, nung sobrang naging lean na ako, hindi ko na nakikita masyado na lean pa ba ako? And that was due to lack of experience. First time ko sumampa So hindi ko alam na enough na pala to. You need someone with experience to guide you. Kasi if you have a coach, a lot of the guesswork mawawala. Mas malaki yung chance na hindi mo isi-second guess yung sarili mo. Kasi kung i-second guess mo yung sarili mo, dun ka na pwedeng mag-mess up. Pag lalo na sa mga peak week, pwede na magbago yung approach mo, baka biglang on the fly, mag-switch ka ng mga things. And that should not be the case. You should have a coach, stick to one plan, and commit to that. This question deserves a whole video in itself, pero siguro yung last would be learn how to pose. Spend a lot of time practicing your posing, your angles. A lot of times, you can outpose a person bigger or leaner than you on stage. From All About Albert, question number 4, I stopped for 2 months and I plan on going back to the gym. Gained body weight and body fat. What should I do? Guys, lagi kong sinasabi, whatever you gain or whatever you lost can always be gained back, or whatever you've gained can always be lost. Commitment kasi tong fitness eh. It's a lifestyle eh. Basically, naputol lang yung momentum mo. Kasi nag-gym ka na dati, tumigil ka lang. So just get back on it. The first 2 weeks maybe will be the worst. Yun yung pinakamahirap kasi syempre sasakit ulit katawan mo, kailangan mo i-program ulit sa yung utak mo na kakain kang mas maayos, kailangan mag-focus ka sa tulog. So kailangan mo lang itawid yung first 2 weeks of being consistent to build back that momentum, tapos eventually magiging consistent ka na ulit. Question number 4 from Stephen: how was your calories progression during your year-long bulk? So we started ni Grant around 2023, January, slowly increasing calories, tapos lumalakas ako. Then magkakaroon ka kasi ng sticking point at some point na it's either you're getting too fat or mawawalan ka ng appetite. For my case, I felt na I was getting too fat and nawawala yung appetite. Kasi if you're force-feeding yourself, for example, nag-start kami siguro mga 2.6, tapos umakyat na mga 3K, 3.3. Gradual yung pag-akyat niyan eh. Hindi naman in one go, 3,000 ka agad. Para yung fat gain mo, hindi rin ganun kabilis. So nung umabot ako dun sa sticking point na ayaw ko na kumain, nahihirapan na ako, yung katawan ko mismo, pinapahirapan na ako kasi lagi siyang busog and all, and I felt super sluggish. That's when we did a mini cut. Nung nag-mini cut ako, that's to trim off the excess fat, nagpapagutom, so it's an aggressive fat loss phase. Kasi kung galing kang 3,300 araw-araw, umay ka na sa pagkain, you go on a sharp deficit. So nagpagutom ako ulit. I know it's not really the healthiest in terms of, normal eating, pero this is competitive bodybuilding we're talking about eh. And it's also not for everyone. So yung mini cut ko was successful, so that got me into a better position to bulk again. So bumaba yung body fat ko, bumaba yung weight ko, I looked better, tapos nagugutom na ako ulit. Then that's when pwede ka na mag-bulk ulit. May mini cut video din ako dito. You guys can check it out. So after the first mini cut, nag-bulk kami ulit konti, pero we stayed at a recomp range of mga nasa maintenance or a little over maintenance for a long time, probably 4 months, 5 months. Umabot na naman ako 190 pounds. So start ng bulk was around mga 160. I ended up mga 190, mini cut to 170, then ended back up to 190. Then ngayon, mini cut ulit. Question number 6 from Ace Rev: when cutting, do you prefer small meals or big meals? Same calories, of course. Haha. For me, I prefer bigger meals. Di ako mahilig sa smaller meals kasi I find myself feeling more hungry kapag may mga small meals ako. I don't really have a big appetite, pero what's worked well for me is a small meal na breakfast before training, gym ako sa umaga, pag uwi, big lunch, big dinner. If may room pa for snacks later on, late at night, then I will eat. Pero mostly big meals ako. 2 big meals. Now that depends per person. So you have to really test it out for yourself. Personal experience ang required for you to find out which one you actually prefer. I've worked with people na mahilig sa smaller meals as opposed to bigger meals. Pero again, it depends. Question number 7 from Miguel Tenco: how much kilogram per month should I gain during lean bulking while minimizing fat gain? This is very subjective, individual siya. Depends talaga per person. May mga hard gainer. So a good rough estimate would be siguro mga 1 kilo to 2 kilos. It could be more kung mas beginner ka, or if you don't have a lot of muscle on you, or if skinny ka. It really depends. Iba-iba talaga per person. Pero a good ballpark figure is 1 to 2 kilograms a month sa lean bulk. Tapos may kita mo naman eh. If you're getting too fat visually, then maybe it's time to slow it down, lessen the calories. Pero maraming factors involved. Your sleep, syempre your nutrition, and yung buhat talaga. For me, sobrang importante nung buhat pag nagbabulk ka. You should be getting stronger. Magulat ka na lang pag tumataas yung timbang mo, pero hindi ka lumalakas. May mali na doon. Thoughts on 3-day push-pull leg split? For me personally, I don't think this is optimal kasi syempre you get to train your muscles once per week lang. Pero, di naman ibig sabihin na optimal siya na yung kailangan mo sundan. What might be optimal for me might not be optimal for you. Kasi ako, I'd recommend, for example, kung 3 times a week ka na lang, i-full body mo na para ma-hit mo yung muscle groups mo more than once per week. Pero, if hindi ka nag-enjoy doon and you can't stay consistent with that, you find yourself na nabuboringan ka, hindi mo na-enjoy, tapos mas nagiging 2 days na lang instead of 3, as opposed to kung PPL ka na mas na-enjoy mo, nagagawa mo 3 times a week, and then stick to that. Optimal is based on your consistency. So, kung di ka consistent, walang kwenta yung optimal. So, if you enjoy this split, it may take you longer to grow certain areas, lalo yung mga weak points mo. Pero if you enjoy it and you can stay consistent with that, stick with that. Thoughts on high volume frequency training? So, again, define muna natin. Yung volume, again, is your sets and your reps. Yung frequency naman is yung days of training. So, ako personally, sweet spot ko is nasa 4 to 5 days a week. Anything more, hindi ko na sustain. For me, 6 to 7 days a week, lalo na yung 7, wala ka ng rest day nun. Sobrang high frequency na nun. Yung problema sa high frequency training is hindi nakaka-recover enough yung tao kapag intense siya magbuhat. So, I've been doing this before, actually, nung medyo bago ako. Yes, it worked for a time, pero nag-diminishing returns siya sa akin to the point na kala ko the more days, the more exercises, tas laging banat sa gym will make me grow. Pero the problem there, hindi ako nakaka-recover, which some of you might experience kahit na-go hard kayo lagi. Recovery ang kalaban mo sa high-frequency training. You might be overtraining to the point na hindi, again, nakaka-recover yung katawan. Siguro kung beginner, again, baka it may work just to get you excited to go to the gym, tsaka yung gigil. Pero once you mature as a lifter, you have to really prioritize your rest days. Kaya ako, I shifted from high volume, high frequency to low volume. Saktong frequency lang, 5 days a week, 4 days a week, and intense yung buhat. That way, I get to recover and I get to train hard. From Connie DR, shout out brother. Any tips for hybrid athletes with bodybuilding as the priority? Nauso kasi ngayon, di ba, yung hybrid training. So hybrid means you run and you lift. Now that's very good for lifestyle and if you wanna stay lean. Pero if you want to go into competitive bodybuilding, lalo na yung pag may legs, such as classic or bodybuilding mismo, you'd have to really tone down your running. Kasi too much cardio can affect your growth, lalo na sa legs. For some people, syempre, masaya tumakbo, masaya magbuhat. Pero kung competition yung goal mo, and you really wanna succeed, gusto mo mag-build pa ng mass sa legs mo, then you really have to scale back the running. Depende rin yan sa end goal mo or end target mo sa show eh. Kung gusto mong manalo as in pro card level na against the best, edi syempre kailangan mo talagang bawasan yan. Pero kung gusto mo lang sumampa, maybe podium finish, feel ko kaya naman. Pero just don't expect to be like an elite level athlete or make substantial gains kung takbo ka ng takbo or puro ka cardio. So from Joaquin again, shout out again bro. Ganda nung tanong eh. Does meal timing actually matter in the long run? If you are a competitive bodybuilder, yes. For me, lalo na yung cutting kasi pag hindi ka masyadong nag-manage ng calories, magugutom ka talaga. Now, when it comes to lifestyle, general population, general fitness, it doesn't matter as much as long as you get your calories and macronutrients in. I've worked with a lot of people na hindi naman necessarily strict yung meal timing nila pero they get great results. Kasi at the end of the day, mas importante pa rin talaga yung calories, yung macros mo as opposed to yung kailan ka ba kakain. In the long run, I don't think it's healthy nor sustainable to have meal timing na strict. Na okay, 9 kain, 12 kain, 3 kain, 6 kain, parang ganun. So depende sa goal mo, yung importance niya will somewhat matter. Next question from Just Jakey. How long should you cut in a certain period of time? Diet fatigue or once you reach your body fat percentage goal? So, depende rin yan sa goal mo. If you want to reach a certain level of body fat percent, most people yun yung ginagawa eh. Gusto ko makita yung abs ko na full. That's probably like 10% or lower. So, they stop after that. Ang diet fatigue, minsan pag matagal-tagal ka ng diet, more than 12 weeks, more than 16 weeks, may diet fatigue dyan. Meaning, papagod ka na, baba na energy mo, lagi ka ng gutom. Pag hindi mo pa naaabot yung body fat goal mo, tas may diet fatigue na, you can incorporate diet breaks. So, mag-maintenance calories ka for a week or 2 or even longer para matulungan yung hunger mo and all. Tapos, balik ka sa deficit para maabot mo yung body fat percentage goal mo. So, for most people, they want to stop cutting at a certain body fat percent. Pero, pag mga gusto lang pumayat, usually, pag nahirapan na sila sa diet, nagsa-stop na. Next question, rate your current physique from Marco29825. Sige, I'll be as objective as possible. Kung lifestyle lang, general population, or Instagram, if I cut this down, I think it's a 10 out of 10. I have enough muscle mass, kaya ko makondisyon, kaya ko palabasin abs ko, can get ripped na below normal levels. Kung social media, lifestyle lang, I'd love how it looks, so I'd give it a 10 out of 10. Pero kung competitive bodybuilding ang usapan, siguro I'd give it a 7 for men's physique, yung walang legs masyado. Pero for current moment pero kung classic or bodybuilding, kung bodybuilding baka mga, I don't know, 4 or 5. I don't think yung look ko maganda for bodybuilding. Pero for classic, siguro I'd give it a 6.5, 7, gano'n. Kasi may legs naman ako, tsaka I've built some size. Pero kung bodybuilding kasi or competitive bodybuilding pinag-uusapan, malayo pa. Marami pa akong ilalaki. Marami pang igaganda. So I guess yun, yung honest assessment ko with my physique. And finally, the last question from Jello Dion. Does bodybuilding help you a lot by financial means? Salary, opportunities, marketing? From my experience, it's purely passion or purely ine-enjoy mo yung sport. I consider it a sport. You're like an athlete. You train, you diet. Tapos yung mental state mo pag nagpe-prep ka, actually kahit di nga naka-prep, athlete's mindset siya. So, I think it has opened doors for a lot of other people, lalo na kapag wala kang following. If you're starting from scratch, nagbe-build ka social media, it can help certain people. Alam ko, mas maraming athletes, bodybuilders who are growing now, lalo na sa mga TikTok, shorter form content, IG Reels, ganyan. Yung nasalihan ko, and yung mga sasalihan ko pa, wala siyang return na money. If ever, konti lang. Basta not enough to make it a career. A lot of people who get into bodybuilding, yung careers din nila, usually around fitness na rin. So, iba nagko-coach, iba PT, iba nutritionist, diba? Pero sa Philippines, I think for the natural scene, wala namang kinikita masyado dun. I'm not entirely sure sa enhanced side. I think may mga shows ngayon na mas malaki yung cash prizes. Kung purely bodybuilding lang, I don't think it's enough to make a living out of, lalo na dito. Pero abroad, ibang usapan yan. Sa US, yung mga full-time bodybuilder na nananalo, nagko-compete, I think they make good money out of it. Mas malaking fitness industry sa kanila. So, to answer your question, from my experience, wala. Kung in terms of kita. Pero opportunities, there are some opportunities. May potential kang makilala and all. Marketing also, syempre, kung maganda physique mo, mas pwede kang pakinggan. Pero you have to back that up with knowledge. So yun guys, quick straight up Q&A. So kung may follow-up questions kayo, just let me know down in the comments below. Try ko sagutin lahat. Pero I hope you guys enjoyed this setup. Chill lang siya. Madali siya i-set up, madali siyang gamitin. So, mas makaka-produce ako ng talking head on a more consistent basis. So, with that being said, thank you guys and I'll see you in the next one.